Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I have had lots of requests to share how I made this messy desk. Made this skull pendant right here. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. I'm actually going to do the skull in this part. And what I started with was just some Sculpting original. And the reason I started with that is because I knew that I would be making a mold from this skull. And I like to use the Sculpting original when I'm doing that because, and you'll hear lots of people say that the Sculpting original doesn't hold detail as well, but I don't find that to be true. I find that it's super soft and really does hold the detail relatively well. So I'm just going to break a little off. And luckily this batch isn't quite as soft as some I've had before. But it's still pretty soft, which is another reason why I like to sculpt with it. So, okay, unfortunately it is white, so it may be a little difficult to see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to condition it first and then roll it in a ball in my hands. Alright, and you can definitely do this with other clay. You could do it with Sculpting, or with Primo, or with Vimo, or with Gato. It's just going to be a skull and not on a neck or anything, so the first thing we'll do is start with the shape. And all I did was pinch slightly to make a sort of egg shape. Not really, but sort of. Alright, flatter on the bottom than on the top, which will be more rounded. I've got a ball tool, and this isn't a necessarily very large ball tool, but I do have a larger one that I'll work on the eyes with. Alright, so I'm actually going to start with that. Alright, this is the Sculpting, one of the Sculpting tools. And I got this quite a while ago. I'm not sure they're exactly the same now, but they do have a set that has larger tools also, ball tools also. So, I'm going to start by showing you that if you imagine a halfway point on this right here, alright, that's about a half of the face. Alright, I'm going to go slightly on the below that side, as if that line represents your ridge, your brow ridge. Alright, and I'm just going to make two eyes. I know this seems very kindergarten-like at first. Alright, and then I'm going to take my knitting needle tool and deepen that brow ridge. And we're not going to worry about the eyes right now. Take the knitting needle and just sort of show where the nose would be. I don't normally like to sculpt on camera because it does make me feel a little nervous. Alright. And then I'm going to divide that brow ridge. Now before I shape the nose, I'm going to cut it off at the bottom. Alright, so this will be our nose. Below that will be the area for our mouth. Alright. I hope you can see that. Alright, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to halfway, a little higher than halfway from the nose to the chin. Just going to put a line. And because your jaw tilts up and back a bit, alright, now I'm going to start at the bottom with the teeth and then work my way back up. Just going to put a line where the bottom of the teeth would be, and then see if I can get a little closer. Now, as you can see, this clay is really soft, and one of the things that I like about the Sculpey original is it doesn't have a lot of bounce back. If I was trying to do this with Primo or Souffle or something, the clay would want to bounce back a little bit, and that will it won't really ruin your detail, but it'll soften the detail. So if you want a softer look, by all means. I had lots of requests for this tutorial, and one of the things that I keep telling people is keep in mind this won't be exact, because of course you can't sculpt two things exactly the same. Well, I can't anyway. Alright, then I'm going to go across the top of the teeth just barely. Now, your teeth, where they go up into your skull, will also have a texture that's almost like your teeth. Alright. Okay, now we're going to shape the nose. Alright, and now you can see why we push the face back away from the nose a bit, because that helps to give you that ridge around your nose. Alright, now I'm going to take that ball tool again. Alright. Alright, we're getting there. Gonna squeeze on the sides just lightly to help bring out those cheekbones just a little bit. Alright, and another thing that your skull has is lots of defects. It'll have like little, it's actually little places where your veins will run. So just create some imperfections. If you've ever felt the front of your skull, you know that there's a fissure that runs up there. And it does take a weird little trek around your skull. That's where your soft spot is when you're a baby. Another thing you may want to do is to sort of hollow out right under the chin. Alright, it's really getting there. I'm going to show you the difference. Alright, this is the first one that I made, and I intentionally made him have this large grin. I wanted him to have an evil kind of, not really cartoon look, but almost comic book look. if that's the right thing to say. Alright, but you can see how elongated the skull is. And I did that because I wanted it to show when it's set flat like this. Alright, this one is completely different. This is a more realistic shaped skull. Alright. That you can do either one. As you can see, the little detail in the skull above the teeth. One of the things that I didn't do was to really define between the teeth and the chin. Alright. Alright, and then there's some detail on the sides of the skull as well. Which most of this won't show. In the finished piece. And like I said, that's one of the things with this Sculpting original, is it takes a very delicate touch and very little pressure to actually sculpt. And since I'm not worrying about the strength, because I'm gonna be making a mold from this, that's why I like the Sculpting original. Alright, so there we go. a little skull that you can use in a lot of different ways in your polymer clay pieces. Alright, so I'm going to bake this, and then I'm going to come back and show it to you. Okay, here it is out of the oven. All baked and ready to go. In the next video, I will share how we're going to make a mold and pour some resin. Alright. Alright. I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.